These are the instructions for how to do quote bars and quote boxes. And first we're going to just explore some of your options this year. Go to HJ eDesign, log in, and then go to the book view. We're going to jump to page 252, hit enter. And you're going to see that 252, 3, 4, and 5 all have some examples of quote boxes and bars that you can view. Let me explain some of them. First, I want you to click the eyeball at the top. If you haven't done this already on your own spreads, you're going to see that you can see how your page is going to print without all of those grid lines behind it. You can click it with or without the eyeball to view your page. The first quote bar that goes all the way across the spread, if that's how you've set your quotes up, has a blue background, a place for the question here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. You can put action shots there, you can put mug shots there. As long as they're all consistent, it's fine. And then their answer, their name, and their grade are going to go next to that. This one is set up to have kind of like a little piece of art at the end of it. Let's say this is soccer, put a soccer ball. If it's cross country, put a shoe. If it's not sports, then put something like, if this is for art classes or artwork, then, find some objects that have that there that you can put right there. That would be an optional thing, but it's a nice way to make this quote bar look unique. This one is just quotes, nothing fancy. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 places to quote people, and their quotes go underneath it with their name and grade. The question goes on the left-hand side. Unlike the first one, the color bar behind it goes down a little bit, so it kind of mimics a cutout like our cover. This one has a blue bar across the top with our theme, so here's the deal. Then you'll put your question all the way across this bar right here. Then you have a place to quote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people. Quotes underneath. Again, these can be mug shots or action shots. Excuse me. This one has stripes, and you can add or take away stripes as needed depending on how long your question is. So if it's what's your favorite thing about soccer, you may not need this last one, and you can delete that bottom row. This is a place to quote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, quotes underneath with name and grade. Over here, we have one with 2 different colors in the background. So here's the deal, and then here's our question. What's your favorite thing about theater, or whatever you have. This one is set up if you only want to quote 4 people, and it's great, especially if you wanted to do a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, or if you have a sport and you need like a varsity, JV, freshman 1, freshman 2, any way you can set up, having 4 different groups identified. This one, I want you to pretend that these are actual people. You would put their picture in, we would cut them out and have a color behind them. So here's the deal, we're just different, our theme behind that, and then the question goes all the way across here, quotes with name and grade at the bottom. Now to go to the next page, a quick way instead of closing this is to go down to the waffle at the bottom to pages. Then you'll see all the pages right here. Just double click the next one, 254, 255. And this is basically the same ones except vertical ones. Most of you have a vertical quote bar of some sort. You'll notice how each of them either have with pictures or without picture options. Only choose the with picture option if you don't plan on quoting a lot of people, or you don't expect to get a lot of quote sheets from your people on that spread. If you already have or expect to get a lot of quotes, then forget the pictures. We're just going to quote a bunch of people. The more folks we can cram on there, 15 versus just these 4, the better for our coverage. So here's the black and white one, here's the blue and white one, here's the stripes with and without pictures, the red and blue versions, and then this one with the cutouts is just with a picture option. So look at those many options, whether you have vertical or horizontal quote bars. And then the next step is to go to your spread and other spreads. And now we're going to use the modules option in Schoology. So let's close this. Now let's go to one of your pages. It doesn't matter which one as long as it has a place for quotes. I'm going to use Bow's Boys Basketball as an example. He has a horizontal quote bar. Now you're going to delete this. We're going to use one of our templates. So you can go through and individually delete each item, or a faster way is to take your mouse and start over here in the blank area, draw a box around what you don't want. It grabs everything. Then hit the delete key on your keyboard and it all goes away. Then over here on your toolbar, go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 symbols down. It's 3 dots. One of them is filled in. That's your modules one. Here's all of our quote boxes and bars. He has 6 different things to choose from. Whichever one you want to click and drag it over. Now, these are mostly set up to go half the page, and that's completely fine. We're going to just simply put another one next to it and then make some modifications. You'll notice that whenever you drag them over, all of these modules have a dotted line around them. This means that everything is grouped together. If you want to make any changes to a module, if you want to change the color, if you want to change type text on it, you want to do anything to it, you have to first go to Object, then Ungroup. So we would definitely need to modify this one to make his go all the way across. So I have to first go to Object, Ungroup, and now if he doesn't want to ask two questions, which he could, I can just delete this one and then go to Object, Ungroup, and then take this one and make the question go all the way across. So there's one option for Bao on his basketball page. Some of you have pages where there are vertical quote bars. Let me look at another one that I know has a vertical one. Here we go. Recognitions, AV's page has a vertical quote bar, and so all I have to do is just delete where she had planned to put that. Let's go over to modules. We've got lots and lots to choose from. If she only ends up getting a couple of quotes, we can go ahead and choose one that just has pictures and a few people quoted. Or I already know on hers, she's gotten a ton of quotes from National Merit Scholars, so I would definitely choose one that has lots of options. Here's another thing I want to tell you. You can change colors. You can change the sizes of any of the text on the module that you want to, but you cannot change the fonts. What I mean by that is when AV goes to plug in her quote bar, I can either stick with the blue and red that's given, or I can ungroup it. And now let's say she doesn't like the blue. She can take the blue and turn this to white. She can take the text and turn the text to whatever color she wants to. She can click that white box and actually do a border around it. What I'm trying to say is everything here is completely editable, except I cannot go in and change the font. All of these need to be different versions of Function or Status Lays. Those are the only two fonts you're going to see in this year's book. So just those two fonts. But as far as color goes, as far as sizing goes, you have plenty of freedom. Let me find one that's really, really different. There we go. So, excuse me. If you like this one but not the color, ungroup it. And let's change the background to red or blue or whatever you'd like. You could even change the color of the text to blue, red, black, whatever you'd like, or keep it white. You can also change the size and shape of any of the quote boxes that you want to, but if you change one, you need to change them all. To make them consistent, you can copy and paste this over and over again, or you can go over here and see the width and height, which is the size of this box, and make this one exactly the same size. But what I'm trying to say is it is completely editable and up to you on what colors, shape, and how many people you want to quote. Let's say she doesn't want to quote that many people. She wants her box to be smaller. That is totally fine. I'm trying to think if there's another page where the box wasn't shaped like we had. Here we go. Here is One Act Play by Kelsey. Her quote box goes right here. So it needs to be about that shape. We can modify any of the modules to fit that. You just drag it over. Get rid of that real quick. Drag it over, Object, Ungroup, and hers was much wider and much shorter than my example one. Just make everything wider, make everything fit, and then delete any extra stuff you don't need. But I didn't change the font on any of that. Size is fine, shape is fine, but you just not change the font. When you're ready, you're just going to file save your page. I'll come and check with you later on your design.